It is time for another league race. We are here for round 2 in WOR Console Tier 3 Great Britain Silverstone. The last round was in Las Vegas. I will spoil the results at the end of qualifying here. The video is in the top right if you haven't seen it. But straight away for our first quali lap, we do a 25.9, which for me was a pretty decent quali lap at the time. And straight away onto our second lap, we were 2.5 tenths, but unfortunately our last sector is just not great. So we do a 25.7 still, not crazy bad, but it's not good enough for this tier, unfortunately. So let's go on board for our third quali lap and let's see what we can do. I think going into this race, I think my PB was already a 0.7, so I had already done my PB. But let's take a look at my lap and what I do here. Going down to 75% on the battery, back to medium and then in non in the corners. Then here you can see me throwing it in. We missed the apex there and you want to get the car over to the right hand side. Again, you want to get closer to the apex, but still it is fine. You know, it could have definitely been a faster first sector, but we can still work with it. Down to 58 on the battery, 27.0. Down to 4th gear, getting on the power and get the car rotated. And getting on the power again, a little second apex there. Unfortunately, we lose some time to our previous time, so we're down on our time. But I knew that all the time was in the last sector, so we still had everything to play for. Here we go, really deep. I do not have a clue what that corner was, showing how not confident I was. At this point, we didn't even lose time, but there's definitely half a tenth, maybe a tenth in there. At the time we also go down to 5th, you want to keep this 6th, but still 2.0 and we're half a tenth down. There's still plenty of do in the last sector, because in the last sector all the time was there. We get on the power nicely and then through this last corner we're just gonna send it. We actually go through it quite nicely and we're gonna gain another 10th and we're gonna cross the line and do a 25.6. It puts us 4th position. But there are some aliens in this league, man. Come on. 25.1. No, there's no way I'm going to be doing that. I did last Monday in another league, I did a 0.5, which was my PB, but that still would have put me 6th. So let's get into the race. WOR Console Tier 3, as I said. Last race in Las Vegas, finished 10th, unfortunately. As you can see, Great Britain this time around. Let's see if we can fight for a little top 5 here. This is a pretty good track for me. Yeah, seeing the pace of the quali session, there are definitely some people that I cannot get near. But we're starting in 8th and let's see what we can do. As the 5 lights are out, off we go. Let's see if we can get a good start. Strategy is a medium hard. It is very hard to make it, but here you can see we're gonna go to the inside. We have to lift off a little bit. He comes back at us, but we're gonna still try and keep our nose in as the Red Bull gets pushed off the track. Then going into the first sector, just want to make it safely through, but I was a little bit too cautious. I actually gave up, I think, a position to the Aston Martin there. Could have been a better start, but still we move up 1 position. Now we're trying to settle into the race. We're not next to anyone here. Maybe seeing around us if there is a gap opening up. As you can see, someone behind me has tried to put his nose in front, but we're having none of it. And let's see what we do in the rest of the track. As I said, it's really important to save your tires on this track. As you can see here, Indien, I don't know how to pronounce it, in Aston Martin goes wide, and we're gonna get in front through Maggots and Beckett's. Awful through here, but I was just trying to set up a good exit so he couldn't get me back on this straight. But we move up to 6th position, so definitely decent start, you know. We still move up. Every time you move up, it cannot be a bad start. So we move up and now we are behind Flores. But here I'm gonna make a mistake, unfortunately. I brake a little bit too late. I actually just carried too much speed through the corner. I should have backed off. And I hit him, and this is actually gonna hurt my race and Flores as well. Really, actually sorry for that mistake, because as you can see in the top left, now top 4 are gonna run away, and they had already great pace in the quali. Yeah, unfortunately it's going to be really hard for us to get back in that DRS. As you can see, it is now 9/10, but after lap 3 we have lost a few seconds to them, and it's really hard to get back there. Here you're gonna see Flores is gonna wiggle away, and I was not expecting this because my pace was definitely slower than his. I was like, he's wiggling, alright, I'm gonna try and get back. But yeah, at this point in the race I was also just not feeling that confident. I was running a really low downforce setup as well, and yeah, I don't know, I was just not feeling that confident and great. So unfortunately, yeah, we are in front, but the pace of the top 4 is so good. But maybe with some work together and with the pit stops we can do something. Here you can see skipping onto lap 5, nothing really happened. 2.7 seconds, not actually running away that much in front of me. But yeah, I also didn't want to burn my battery all the way that I would lose P7 as well. So here I'm gonna let Flores pass again. Maybe he could have saved some battery in the meantime, and now we can push back to the top 4. So in hindsight, maybe it did help us, because you can see we did get definitely a lot closer, but I'm gonna get my first warning, unfortunately, trying to push the car just on the edge of the 1 second. And in lap 9, the first pitter, actually pitters, I should say, are gonna pit. And that is actually quite early, I would say. It is definitely possible, but for me, maybe not. Let me put it like that. But you can see the tire indication is on already in the bottom right. End of lap 10, we go into the pits. Unfortunately, I think I lost the DRS on the last lap to Flores. He just had better pace, and my pace, as I said, was just not that great in the race. So let's see where we come out of the pits. You can see in the top left just about behind the DRS, and that's actually also really gonna hurt me, because now I have to spend a lot of ERS to try and get back in. But you can see in this little sequence of corners I already lost half a second, and now we're gonna lose even more. And trying to push the car here. Unfortunately, we get our second warning in lap 11. Totally unnecessary. But then in lap 12, the leader actually pitted. And we are this time gonna get lucky, because we're just about in the DRS. As you can see on the bottom left, we have no pressure from behind, but we can only try and move forward in this race. P7 we are now, and behind the race leader with fresh, really fresh hearts, trying to make inroads on the rest. And hopefully I can keep up with him. Here you can see really important corners, and luckily we are able to stick within his 1 second right when he came out of the pit. So we are gonna crawl back to Flores and the rest of the this little train fighting for 4th position. And let's see what we can do now here. Unfortunately, again, a really, really silly mistake, totally unnecessary. And it is my 3rd warning, and a 3 second in this grade in this position. It's just not gonna work anyway. So nothing happened until lap 24. I couldn't do anything because I wasn't able to get enough battery back to actually attack. And also I tried to save my tires. That was not really a point. I was just trying to stay back and hope for something to happen to the people ahead. But then we lose some focus. We're just gonna do some dumb stuff, which is actually gonna lose us the DRS now in lap 25. Still, as you could see, my tires are 75%. So I was, yeah, it's more than 5% over 2 laps. So I did not want to get a puncture at the end of the lap here. I'm gonna make another silly mistake. Setup was not nice to drive. But on to the last lap here, you can see Robin, I think he was one of the leaders, is out of the way, and he actually has a puncture. So even with our 6th second now, let's see if we can even get the position of Robin, who got a puncture. Of course, he's gonna be really slow throughout the corners, but is it gonna be enough, or have we been really stupidly getting too many warnings? We're gonna cross the line. As you can see here, we're actually gonna make it quite comfortably in the end. Crossing the line in P6, definitely some things to learn from. but overall a pretty decent race. In terms of pace, I don't think I deserved any higher on the grid. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.